Okay, I'm gonna record a little video here of nothing more than me sanding and talking. This is Willie's knife right here, and I've got 3 other knives that I'm gonna work on, but it is 28 degrees outside and it's just, oh, it's about 45 or 50 in here, and I got a second heat source in here trying to warm it up enough where I can take off my jacket. So I'm gonna shut you off. I'm gonna go make me a cup of coffee, and maybe by the time I get back it'll be warm enough to take my jacket and my hat off, because I hate working in here all bundled up. So we'll be right back with a cup of coffee and no jacket. Okay, yeah, it's warmed up a little bit in here. I was able to take my jacket off. So let me start by showing you a couple of things. This is the giveaway knife, and got the handles glued on, epoxied on, pinned. This is polished, and I'm not going to work this handle today. I'll work that when I get to the handle working point. This is Willie's knife here, Willie Hill. This is his handle. He told me to make it the way I would make it for me, and that's what I'm doing. This is going to be it's going to be a satin, a cross between a satin and a polished finish. It'll be a usable finish. You would not believe the cold air rushing up through here. So it's that freaking cold in here that I can feel that cold air rushing up. So I'm not going to be using that today. What this is spalted hackberry, my last really cool piece. I've got a lot of spalted hackberry, but this is my last highly figured piece with walnut liners. And that's going to be a beautiful, beautiful knife with stainless pins. So what I'm going to be doing is sanding on Willie's knife here, and talking and drinking coffee. Not at the same time. Oh yeah, what was I thinking trying to quit you? Coffee, you complete me. Alright, this is these are my cheapy Walmart. Actually, I got these online, but these are just about the highest number readers that you can go to without getting a prescription. These are 4s, and the ones I'm wearing now are 3s, and I don't use these when I'm doing close-up work, because these 4s are only good from about my head to this. Any further and I can't see, and any closer and I can't see, but they're perfect for this distance. So here I go. Let's start sanding. This come off the belt at 80, or maybe, no, it was 60 grit. It's a worn out 60 grit, so you might as well call it 80. So I'm rubbing out the 80 grind lines, which look like this right off the belt. A lot of work, a lot of work. So let me get after it. I'll do a little bit, and then when I stop and take a break, I rest my hands a minute, you know. And what I do is I start at the tip and work my way to the plunge line. The plunge line is the hardest area to get. And what I do is go back through the sandpaper that I've used, and I use the areas that I didn't get on the flats, that didn't wear out. It's cheap, but it saves a little bit of sandpaper. I watched Ricky's video this morning about dealing with the next 4 years, and his thinking and mine are exactly the same. It must be age. You know, when the Dark Lord was first elected, the first term, I thought that was going to be the end of the world as we know it. And that's when I began to prep. Actually, I started prepping in 2000, Y2K, and nothing ever happened. But that did get me interested in preparedness, which, you know, I never bought or stored anything that I didn't eat or use frequently. So nothing went to waste. And then, you know, 4 years went by and nothing terrible happened to me personally or my life. So when the Dark Lord was reelected, I was amazed that that could have happened. I suspect it happened the same way. I gotta be careful about names, because my God, YouTube is kicking people off left and right. So when the dementia patient was elected, I think we all know it simply is not possible that there are that many people in this country that could listen to that man talk and willingly push a button or pull a lever for him, especially knowing what his plans for the country are. So, you know, the bottom line is, it's done and it's over. Now we got to live with whatever challenges come our way. And what do you do? And Ricky also said something that I told my wife, and actually I even mentioned it to Ricky. We talked on the phone that I doubt I'm going to vote anymore, since voting means absolutely nothing. That the people who get in office are the people they want, not the people you vote for. The laws that pass are laws they want, not the laws you vote for or against. So, in my opinion, voting is a complete waste of your time. So, I resigned myself to stand back here behind my locked gates, my fenced yard, out of sight, out of mind, not causing any trouble, being the gray man, if you will. And the world I care about now is about 3 acres and about 3 people in it. I mean, there's more people than that, but you know what I mean. Right here in it's me, my wife, and Bev, and that's all we got to worry about inside this fence, is how the outside world is going to affect us in here. I live in the heart of oil and gas country. There's a lot of people here that have jobs because of oil and gas. As a matter of fact, right behind my house, here behind you, the camera, there's a gas well. North of me, about a mile, there's a brand new gas well. Northeast of me, about 3 miles, there's a brand new, huge gas well. So, what are all these people going to do when they go green? You know, green meaning no more oil and gas and coal. Remember what the Dark Lord did to the coal industry? Decimated the coal industry. All those mine workers out of work. I gotta get my magnifying glass right behind you. Pardon me. Alright, now I'm getting up into the area from about here up. This is where I got to really concentrate now. I still love my country, my flag, but not my government. This government does not represent anything that I believe in or support. Yeah, the world has really changed. I think part of it is my age. You know, at my age, I've seen the world change a lot over the years, but in very small increments that are easy to swallow and adapt to. They're easier to accept. But these changes that are coming are going to be huge changes. And they're going to be immediate, and there's going to be repercussions if you can't accept them. Look what they're doing to Twitter. Twitter has banned everybody that is not a left-wing liberal. Now, Trump and Steve Bannon, and there's a whole bunch of people that have been banned from Twitter. They're saying they're going to go to Parler. Well, guess what? Google has now banned Parler from their platform. Apple has now banned the Parler app. They're doing everything in their power to squash opposing viewpoints. That is not the America I grew up in. I come from a family of veterans. My older brother's a Vietnam vet. My dad's a Korean War vet. My grandfather's a vet. Long past, same with my dad. I'm a vet. I got 2 sons that are veterans. We've invested a lot of sweat equity in this country. And to have it totally jerked out from underneath you and turned into the kind of country that we were defending against. I'm looking at my dog. She's out in our backyard over there. She's the smallest one, Sunny, and we think we may have been hearing some coyotes. And coyotes will snatch a little dog up in a heartbeat and eat it. So I'm not big on just randomly killing animals because they're doing what animals do, like the one that got my chicken, Blind Mary. I just couldn't make myself kill a fox just because it was doing fox stuff. But because I know that they will kill my dogs if I don't take care of the situation, you better believe I'll be shooting for coyotes if I can get a shot. Yeah, I'm not happy at all about the things that have transpired. Not happy at all. But what can I do? What choices am I faced with? I think my decision to just remain quiet, stay back here, Don't make a bunch of Facebook posts about how I feel. Be very careful what I say on YouTube or I'll get kicked off. I'm just trying to live out my days in peace. I'm gonna make knives until I can't buy the components anymore. Oh, by the way, this was my last piece of steel here. I ordered some more steel last night, $350. That's how expensive knife making steel has gotten. Yeah, a little bit more. Came out a little quicker than I thought it was gonna. This is definitely the hardest grit to go from the belt to the sandpaper, is the most time consuming. I started working on this, I worked on this about 3 hours before I went home last night, and that's just one side. I got the other side to do, so probably another 3 or 4 hours on that side. And then when you go up a grit, as you step up in grits, it takes less and less muscle and time to get the previous scratches from that grit out. As tedious and boring as this looks, for some reason I enjoy it. It gives me time to sit and think. It doesn't require a whole bunch of brain muscles. It just requires arm muscles, so you can think without taking your mind off of this, just as long as you keep your fingers away from the sharp edge. That took me about 2 years. It took me about 2 years and about 30 serious knife cuts to not do that anymore. All right, I'm gonna turn that other heater down. It's finally warmed up in here. Now I'm starting to sweat. Wah! And I got some stubborn ones up in that plunge area. I'm gonna have to work a little harder on getting these out. Huh. There we go. Well, I mentioned this the other day, but I'll talk about it again. I turned the thumbs up, thumbs down, I turned it off on my channel, and all it does is just the people that come here and enjoy, they don't watch my videos. They just, here's the thing that just, this says everything you need to know about a person. This is how weird it is. They dislike me personally, not my videos, because they don't watch them. So because they dislike me, they subscribe to me, they get notifications, and every video I put out, they come thumb it down and then they leave. Which is, it's kind of funny, but it's kind of sad. Not for me, it's sad for people that have that kind of mindset. You got to really wonder about the rest of their life. How screwed up is the rest of their life if that actually brings them pleasure? So I've decided that I'm gonna make a huge effort to keep the evil people out of my life. So I removed the thumbs up, thumbs down thing, and you know, in the long term, who knows, it may affect me. I don't care. I have plenty of subscribers. I'm not like a subscriber hog. I mean, I don't push my channel, and if I never get another subscriber, I'm happy. I'm happy just the way life is. And so turning the thumbs up, thumbs down, you know, may in the long term affect me by a few subscribers or a few views. Oh, so what? I'm not hurting for either, and I'm not desperate for more. But what it does is deny them the pleasure of coming here and thumbing my video down, and I know it gives them pleasure. So here's to you, thumbs downers. You can't do it anymore. And every once in a while I will forget to check that button, because sometimes I upload from my iPhone, and on the YouTube iPhone app they don't offer you that as something you can change or turn off. So I had to go to my big computer and do that. Sometimes I'm going to forget every once in a while, but anyway, for the most part, 99.9% of the time, those will be off. So those people no longer have any access to my life whatsoever. And that's a good feeling. And I'm going to continue feeling sorry for people that is the only pleasure they get, is to bring displeasure into other people's lives. You know, if I don't like somebody or their videos, you know what I do? I don't go there. And I don't subscribe to... Who has that kind of time where you could actually subscribe to somebody for the sole purpose of thumbing their video down? That is truly bizarre. I have a lot of interests, and I subscribe to a lot of channels. So I do not... And I've unsubscribed from a lot of people over the years when their channel takes a turn and their content no longer interests me, or my interests take a turn and their content no longer interests me. And that's just the natural part of everybody's lives. Now, I do subscribe to some people, even though I'm no longer interested in prepping, because as a person I find them interesting. Southern Prepper 1 is a good example. I subscribe to him. I'm not big into prepping. I'm never going to be a Minuteman and grab my gun and go defend the country. But I like Southern Prepper 1, and I like his attitude, and I like his dedication to the Constitution and our country, and right and wrong. And he seems like, honestly, just a very nice, a good man. And so I stay subscribed to him just because I like him personally. And, oh, you know, MD Creekmore. I'm not into prepping, but I like MD. He's a good dude. So, you know, there's that. I do subscribe to people that, you know, I don't have an extreme interest in their videos any longer. But I like them, so I stay subscribed. Like Ricky. I mean, come on. Who likes knife making? I'm kidding. I subscribe to a lot of knife makers. But Ricky's my favorite and one of my best YouTube friends. All right, side number 2. Here we go. I'm gonna from the tip up to about the middle, because it's really hard to go that whole distance and concentrate on it. So I take it in smaller bites, and what I'm working on now is just the tip. I swear, just the tip. Oh, I'm ashamed. when I have to use that much downward pressure, and I've been doing this for 3 days now, not on this knife, but the rest of them, boy, my arms get tired quick. I wonder how old. I was just thinking about Jane Zero. I haven't talked to him in a long time. And here's one of the reasons. As I've gotten older, I've gotten more and more hard of hearing. And John is always driving. He's either driving for his, you know, what he does for a living now, or back home from what he does for a living. And I can't hear what he's saying, and it's not him, it's me. I have a real hearing problem when there's background noise, and my wife can tell you this. If there's anything going on, even wind or anything, and she yells at me across the yard, I cannot hear her. And it makes some people mad that I can't hear them. Well, it's not bad enough that I'm gonna get a hearing aid. Although I imagine at some point I'll have to have a hearing aid. When I was in the Army, they did not make you wear earplugs when you were shooting. And I was on a shooting team, 45 shooting team. So I shot a lot. And then all those concerts I went to, standing in front of the speakers. And then all those years of driving trucks just as loud as I could get them with the mufflers, you know, I mean semis, big trucks, and the mufflers, the pipes, if they were straight pipes, would come right up by your window. And I used to smoke, so I always had my window down. So all those years of abusing my eardrums have added up, and now I find myself very hard of hearing. Especially under certain circumstances, like where there's other background noise, like a moving vehicle, or wind noise, or a TV in the background. Like my wife, for 20 years now, she's got, not mad, and when I say mad, I don't mean angry, I mean tired of me saying what, when she tries to talk to me while the TV's on. And it's the same, I say the same thing, and she will tell you this before these words come out of my mouth. I know what she's going to say if she watches this. Hit the mute button. Why don't you mute the TV when you want to talk to me? You've got it right there. Hit the mute button. I can't hear you when the TV's on. Or if I'm in another room, or if somebody's saying something to me and they're not facing me, I can't hear them. I'm sorry. I have to deal with the ears that I got, and it's aggravating for me too to constantly say what, or to pretend I hear you and just nod, and then later on to say, well, why didn't you do this? Well, I didn't hear you tell me that. Well, you nodded. Yeah, well, it's because I didn't want to say what. But I'm not getting a hearing aid, because I don't care to hear anything that much. Whew, now it's starting to get warm in here. I'm going to turn this other heater down a little bit. There we go. Ah, silence. It don't take long for them tiny little heaters to warm this shop up. When I finish this side, I will have 4 knives finished to 120, and then I go back to the first knife and I start at the next grit, which will be, I think, 180. Yeah, I'll go from 120 to 180 to 220, and then 320, 400, 500. I'm hoping I can have all these, all 4 of them, sanded up to 800, ready for heat treatment by the time I get my tool steel wrapped. Golly. Yeah, I'm still at 275. I'm not worried about it, but I figure if I can lose a couple of pounds, 3 pounds a month, as long as I'm headed that way with my weight, I'm happy. I'm not going to beat myself up. Here's all that I've eliminated. Number 1, I've cut way back on the amount I eat. Number 2, I've eliminated all junk food, Snack cakes, Twinkies, Ho-Hos, Ring Dings, apple pies, ice cream, chips, and some vegetables. And I'm not a big fruit eater. I do like an apple once in a while, but, you know, eliminate fruit. And my blood sugar has been down around 120 most all the time now. And I think as I lose weight, it may come down to a point where I don't have to take any medicine for my sugar. But, you know, if I have to, I have to. I'm not worried about that. That's not my motivation for losing weight. There's actually several reasons why I want to lose weight. Several. I want to live longer. I don't want to die like my father did, a slow, unpleasant death where he couldn't do anything. Couldn't drive. People had to do stuff for him. He was miserable. And that's not the way I want to die. I want to die peacefully in my sleep, not screaming and yelling like my passengers. And the older I get, the more stuff hurts. My back, you know, I have breathing problems, so being fat does not make the breathing problems any easier to deal with. Come on, I got just this little bit of scratches right on the tip that will not come out. I mean, it's taking some serious rubbing to get them scratches out. Almost. In my mind, when I'm sitting here, I imagine the people that are thumbing down my videos, not because it bothers me, but because over my life, I'll tell you, as a truck driver, man, I encountered some truly bizarre people in my time. Guards, security guards, and they all seem to have some kind of authority. Cops, you know, I've met some really weird cops that you just got to wonder, who let these people get a badge and a gun? How did they slip through the cracks? They're so obviously damaged. I've got a bunch of stories. You know, you don't remember the cops that treated you decent and were just normal and doing a good job? Believe me, I'm not anti-police. But in my lifetime as a truck driver, I met some real rogues, some real non-Constitution believing outlaws is what they were. They were outlaws with a badge that mistreated people horribly every chance they got. And, you know, since the advent of body mics and recording, I'm sure a lot of that has changed. But I can't tell you how many times I've had a cop pull me over and demand I pay them in cash. And you know, many times I did because I didn't want a ticket on my record. Not too far from me, there's a guy that was notorious as a cop in, not Hope. Good Lord. Oh, God, it's not far up, I'm gonna have to look that up. I can't believe that slipped my mind. It's in Arkansas, it's just north of us. I cannot believe it. Just give me a second. Give me a second. It's up highway. It's just over the state line, up Highway 71. Up Highway 3, rather. Not Bradley. Not Canfield. Is it Louisville? No. It's right at the line. As a matter of fact, is it Louisville? Yep, it is Louisville. It is Louisville. There was a cop in Louisville, Arkansas that lived in a huge, huge brick house. An estate, if you will. Had fancy cars, fancy bass boats, and lived way beyond what a city cop should have been able to live on city cop pay. One time I was coming through Louisville, Arkansas. It was about 3 in the morning. And there's, as you come in south, there's a stop sign, and then a hard left, and then a hard right, and then there's the courthouse. Well, 3 in the morning, I pulled up to that stop sign, and somebody told me on the CB that the cop was out. Well, you know, I might have been a little behind on my logbook, so at that stop sign, I flicked my dome light on, I picked my logbook up and drew a little line so I could appear to be somewhere in the neighborhood of where I was supposed to be at that time. Turn my light off, put my logbook down, take my left, and then take my right, and he pulls me over into the courthouse parking. He pulls an 18-wheeler over and makes me turn into, with skinny little driveways and ditches on either side of the driveway, made me turn into that parking lot. And he says, you didn't come to a complete stop at that stop sign. And I said, not only did I come to a complete stop, I stopped there long enough to look at my logbook to make sure my logbook was up to date. And he insisted I didn't come to a complete stop and was going to write me a ticket, and it was like $120. And he demanded I pay in cash. He said, if you don't have the money right now, I can put you in that Gray Bar Motel right behind me. I said, I don't have $120 because I got 3 kids, but you know, I got $50. And he took it. Took my $50, let me go on my, well, that's how that guy had such nice home and bass boats, and that was not the first cop that ever pulled me over and jacked me for money. But I've met a lot of people in my life that got pleasure in trying to figure out ways to make you as miserable and unhappy as they are. You see it on the interstate all the time. And I always think it's people that have no control over their own life or are unhappy with the direction their lives have taken or the failures they have in their lives. They want to make other people as unhappy as they are. That's just one of my theories. I got a million of them. warehouses, you deliver to warehouses, and everybody in that warehouse would treat you like you were absolute filth. They would be rude to you, they would be angry at you, and here you are bringing stuff that if they didn't have it, there would be no need for them and none of them would have a job. I never got that, the mistreatment. I never understood that. And the mistreatment was the worst when I would deliver to or pick up at union warehouses. So when I bought my own truck, I never picked up at a union shop again or delivered to a union shop. And I would, when I took a load, I would make certain that it wasn't union before I even agreed to take a load. And believe me, there's 100 times more non-union stuff out there than there is union. And most of the unions are in the Northeast, which just happens to be where most of the liberals are that protect those kind of workers. So consequently, it was a win-win for me. I didn't have to deal with unions anymore, and I didn't have to go to the Northeast, which in my opinion is the worst part of the entire planet is New England. I'm talking the cities, Boston, New York, Hartford, even, you know, up around Bangor. I mean, even Maine, the people have just turned plumb evil. And yeah, I didn't miss it. When I started running predominantly the southern states and the western states and the midwestern states, my life as a truck driver was much happier. Whew. We're getting there. I'm going to turn you off for a minute. I want to drink the rest of this coffee. We'll be back when I'm nearly done with this.
No good unless he loves you all the way. Happy to be near you when you need someone to cheer you all the way. Taller than the top.
They'll probably gig me on that. Yep, no more news in here. Just music and silence and sermons and Bible study, and since I can't fix anything outside me, I'm gonna work harder on the inside of me. Almost, we're almost to the next grip, just a little bit more. You know, the other day I was talking about we are all on our own path, you know, and we are all, some people get worse as they go through life and become worse people. And some people recognize their flaws and work their whole life trying to fix them. And that's me. I'm not a perfect person by any means, and I've made a lot of mistakes over the years. A lot of people have suffered because of my mistakes. But I am the person now that I'm happy with. I wish I was more educated in the only book that's important. I'm not, and I can't seem to make myself focus on his word when I should. Almost. But I look back on the person I used to be. Drugs, booze, fighting, bars. and all the other stuff that goes with that kind of a life. And I can't believe that was me at one time. I had very little compassion or kindness for other people. I was very self-absorbed, narcissistic, and didn't care about the lives of other people. I did what was best for me at that time. I'm not that guy anymore. One more little tick and all these vertical scratches will be out. Lordy, that was a lot of work. Be right back. Don't touch that die. Well, let's see if I kicked you. Okay, we're good. Alrighty. This is probably about as interesting as watching paint dry, but I like it. It gives me time to think. Alright, I am moving up to 180, and now my sanding is going to be going this way. I'm gonna try not to bump you. And what I'm doing by sanding this away is sanding out the scratches that go this way, and it just makes it easier to see the horizontal scratches when you sand it diagonally, and you can tell if you've sanded enough. Now what I do, since I got 4 knives and they're all sanded up to that degree, I'm sanding this up to 180, putting it away, getting the next knife out. I'm going to sand them all up to 180. And I may get that done today. We are in for some serious winter weather here in East Texas, Northeast Texas. They're saying, okay, one weather guy says we could get 6 inches. Another guy says no more than 3. So who knows? Snow here. Who'd have thunk? I mean, we have had snow. The last time I remember seeing snow was in Louisiana. Man, 7 or 8 years ago. And then it was gone in a few hours. Boy, does that hurt my hands. Doggone it, that was a good one. Tell you what, I'm gonna have to hang this over here so I'll quit bumping it. There we go. Oh, Lordy. I don't know if I've mentioned this or not. Actually, I think I did in another video. And actually, I was going to do this today, but there's no way it's going to warm up enough for me to be outside. I was going to, first I was going to put some pickets on my gate, my new gate, and I was going to round the top, make it look like a fancy gate. But then I realized that it was just going to be too heavy, especially with that gate just hanging off two little hinge pins. And eventually it would, you know, warp the pole that it's hanging off of. So I decided, not only am I not going to do that, but I'm not going to put the gate opener on it. It's just too easy and nothing breaks. You don't need batteries and solar panels and motors to just get out and open the gate and then close it when you go through it. We don't leave that often. So I'm going to leave the automatic gate opener on the other gate, because in all honesty, I believe when all the hubbub that our neighbor caused dies down, we can go back to closing that gate. She'll be over it. And if there's ever an emergency, you know what I mean by emergency. If society ever fails and we need to protect ourselves to a greater degree, I will close that gate and keep it closed. And we'll have two gates between us and the outside world and a 6-foot fence. So that just made things a little easier and less costly. I spent $600 on that gate. And that wasn't easy to part with around Christmas. And in the mayor's defense, you know, they were real polite about it. Although he came down here with the chief of police, which was very weird. Like, you know, like I'm not a reason. I've never spoken to the guy in my life, so I don't know why he would think I'm not a reasonable person capable of discussing something. And what role the chief of police was supposed to have played, I do not know. Maybe they, you know, I have a concealed carry permit, and that is public knowledge. As far, I mean, if you have access to that, all I gotta do is run your name and ID, and they know that you've also got a concealed carry permit. So maybe the thought of me possibly being armed made him want to involve the police. Who knows? I don't know. That's just kind of weird. This little town is a weird town, and I'm not exaggerating when I say I really hate this town. I've never lived in a town that I disliked so much and they disliked me. I've never lived in a town where total strangers would give me so much crap when I don't bother anybody and I keep to myself and I stay on my side of the fence. It just seems like it's not good enough to leave folks alone. They come after you. And boy, I have experienced more grief in the 2 years living here than I have ever experienced anywhere else on this planet that I've lived. I love this part of Texas. It's just beautiful country. Superb roads. I mean, really superb roads. And populated. Easy access to stores and medical, and although you got to go through Shreveport to get to your medical, but everything else I love. Just not this town. All right, let me look at it with a magnifier. Yeah, still got some vertical lines that need to come out. We're getting there. Okay. I don't know how much of this you want to watch. Probably been talking for about an hour. Now that I've got the lines sanded out on the bevel, now I start on the flats, and I start with this grit. Do I want to go with this grit? I'm not sure. I may wait till I get to 220 to do the flats. I think I'm going to, because I don't have any deep scratches in the flats. So I'm going to wait to do the flats when I get to the 220 grit. So I'm going to do all the bevels up to 180. And then when I go to the 220 grit, I'll do the flats and the bevels and everything. Yeah, Sunday night, Monday morning, we're supposed to get freezing temperatures, and like we had freezing last night. It was 28 last night, and it was 30 this morning when I got up. Freezing temperatures and snow. Yeah, I spent $350 on steel, and I bet you behind me I have got about $1,200, $1,300 worth of sandpaper. Some of this wood I have for handles, some of the wood is $60, $65 in that neighborhood. Everything about knife making is expensive. And since that show Forged in Fire has come out, things that I used to buy, like mosaic pins, they have doubled. Not only have they doubled in price, but they've doubled in price, and they're giving you half the quantity. That's an example. Like 12-inch mosaic pins used to cost me about $22, $23. Now they're about 40 bucks for 6 inches. And I used to buy them in 12-inch lengths, and you can't even buy them in 12-inch lengths now. So I have quit using the mosaic pins. I am not going to give them that kind of money. And here's something else that I admitted to myself yesterday. Part of the reason I used to use mosaic pins is because it made my knives look better. And now I've gotten to the point skill-wise where I'm really happy where I'm at as far as how my knives look, that I don't need mosaic pins to add to the look. And that saying, less is more. Sometimes I think when people can admire how beautiful the wood is, how nice it fits the knife, and there's no gaps and the pins are tight, the Mosaic pens just takes away from the work I did. And that's sort of why I was buying them. Maybe I didn't admit that to myself, but it made my knives look better without putting a lot of effort. It's not that I didn't put effort into the knives, it's just the knives, the Mosaic pens made my knives look better, not my skill. So I give up on Mosaic pens for several reasons, cost being one of them, and the fact that I was fooling myself as to why I was using them. I was trying to trick myself into thinking my knives were more beautiful than my skill really justified that kind of thinking. And now I'm much happier with how I'm making these knives, and I don't need Mosaic pens to speak for me anymore. Oh, right here. All right, Willie, you are up to 180. I like it. Now I'm going to go to Errol's Cato. Bring that up to 180. I can't imagine anybody watching a video for this long. When somebody loves you. Lordy. Somebody asked why I had gone back to coffee. And there's several reasons. One is coffee keeps me from eating when I've ate my adult life since I was 30, probably about 30 or so. I've just gotten fatter and fatter and fatter and fatter. And I've ate more and more and more and more. And so for over 30 years, I've ate way more than a human should. So this diet, in order for me to fight the hunger pains, and I'm hungry not because I need food, but because my stomach is used to having enormous quantities of food in it. So when I get stomach rumbles and I get that little voice in my head that says, it wouldn't hurt if you just ran home and got a little snack, what I do is I drink a cup of coffee and it kills the hunger pains. So that's one reason. Number two, I love coffee. Man, I have quit drugs, booze, cigarettes, all the snack foods, chips, ice cream. And now I'm trying to eat about a third of what I normally eat in a day. And it is just not, and I quit Cokes. It's been a month and a week or a month and 2 weeks since I've had a diet soda of any kind. And I'm not going back to it. So I don't think coffee is I think coffee right now is something I need to help me through this diet. And it's not this diet. I say it's not a diet. All I'm trying to do is eat what a normal person would eat in a day. So it's hardly even called a diet. Because for so many years, I've consumed way more than what would be considered normal for an adult male. And I just love coffee. And I'll tell you, since I quit the sodas, my God, I'm sleeping so much better. When you see me leaning over like this, I'm trying to see it in different light. I don't want to move this light too much because it'll be right in front of you. So I'm having to rely on this light. So I'm having to move my head around to see where the scratches are that I need to sand out. And I see some more barely perceptible scratches, but if you don't get them out in the lower grits, they show up even greater. Even though you barely see them now, really faint, the higher you go in grits, the more obvious they are. And the only way to get them out is to go back to the grit after that grit. And it's hard to remember what grit that was. I don't know why these won't sand out. Yeah, up here. Alrighty. Well, I guess I'm just gonna, I keep telling myself there's no way anybody wants to listen to a video this long. But here's the thing. There's nothing making you stay. I just upload this video and if you watch it, you watch it. If you watch 10 minutes of it, thank you. But I'll tell you what I won't do. I won't monetize this video because I wouldn't expect you to not only, hold on, let me move you just a little bit. Now I gotta get up, make sure you're looking at what I'm looking at. Okay. Yeah, if you're gonna actually watch this video, I won't bore you with commercials. Although, sometimes, I don't know if I've got that much of a choice in commercials, because YouTube puts commercials on videos that are not monetized. And they've even come out and said that. My wife sent me a message. Let me see what she sent me. Oh, it's a L.A. Marzulli video she wanted me to watch. Yeah, that's what I spent on steel. New Jersey Steel Baron. And that is not a lot of steel. Actually, what it is 16 feet. It's 8 feet of 1084 and 8 feet of 1095. And I don't normally buy 1095, but and the reason I buy 1084 is the heat treating parameters for 1084 are far easier to fall within the minimum and the maximum with the type of equipment I have. But now I've been doing this, you know, a couple of years now and getting it right. Now I'm confident that I can get 1095, and I'm only using 1095 for my dinner skinner and my neck knives. I'm using 1084 for the Caddo, the Texas Rumble, the BC Special, and all the other bigger knives, the Swamp Rat. Here's an observation I made. This town, there's a lot of really mean people in this town. Who's calling me? I'll be right back. Okay, I got a phone call and then text messages and then more phone calls and then more emails and messages. Apparently, there's been a massive WikiLeaks dump. And some of the information that has been dumped is very, very damaging. And I got a video queued up right now, the Guns and Gadget channel, that I'm fixing to watch. I'm fixing to stop sanding, go get me a cup of coffee, and watch this video. It's 20 minutes long. Oh, this is Nick's knife here. I finished the Caddo, Errol's Caddo is up to 180. And I'm starting on Nick's knife on the one side so far. And after this, what am I doing here? Okay, hold on one second. Okay, this is Nick's. Okay, I got it. Boy, you stop for 1 second and you forget everything. Yeah, I got Willie's, Errol's, Nick's. Harold's is ready for heat treatment, and I think I said that I'm waiting for my tool steel wrap to get here, and I'm going to heat treat that all four of them at the same time. So this is the last one to get up to 180, and then I'll go back to Willie's and Errol's, and then Nick's here up to 220. So I should have that done before the day is up. So I'm fixing to go get me a cup of coffee, and I'll upload this video, and you know, I don't expect many people to watch it. It's just a whole lot of me talking. But this WikiLeaks drop, who knows the damage this may do or the difference it might make. I'm not gonna stop what I'm doing and look at any of the files, but tonight when I go home from the shop here, I probably will sit in front of the computer and open up a few and read them if they're still up there, because it won't be long if there's real sensitive information. If you haven't downloaded it yourself, they'll take it down. Okay, see you soon. Well, it's a little past noon, and it has warmed up to a balmy 45. So I think I'm going to call it a day out here, and I'm going to go work on my gate. I'm going to try to get some fence, some small animal wire up on my fence, and then rig up a way to keep it closed. You know, if the wind should blow it or an animal should bump it. So I'm up to 180 just on one side of this. This is Nick's blade, and I've got just a few scratches up here. If I get it right in the light, just right. See those scratches right in here? Got to get them out and then flip it over to the other side. This is what it, oh, bad hand. That's 150, and this is not sanded at all. So it's taken a whole lot of rubbing to get it looking like this, a whole lot. But this, I'm gonna make this highly polished. This guy has bought 2 knives from me so far, and he's also the fellow that sent me the sharpening system. So I'm throwing in some extras with this knife. Plus I give him the brother-in-law, the 3rd knife price, and mosaic pins, the last of my mosaic pins. So, okay, let me shut everything down, and I'm fixing to go get my fence and get to work on that gate.
What does that mean?
What do you mean, what does it mean? If I get hot, I pull my hat up so my head cools down. If I get cold, I pull my hat down so I warm up.
I have an idea.
Mm-hmm.
When you get hot, pull your little hat off,
Oh no.
and then when you get cold, put it back on.
Then cold would get on my bald head.
Okay, nothing crazy about that.